All right, welcome to a review. We're going to go over geometry topics today, getting ready for the ACT test. Going to focus on angles and lines, and there's all these different relationships from geometry. We won't get quite to all of them, but hopefully we'll cover a decent number of them in the questions we'll go over today. Okay, so first up is this picture here with angles. I would encourage you to pause the video, give this a shot. You might want to sketch the picture and kind of fill in information from there. And then once you're done, watch the solution. Okay, so oftentimes I'll give you like a lot of information up here to read, but basically I just look at the picture and say we want to get BAC. So that would be this angle right here. Okay, and so you can use back on that original picture here. This is actually an example of vertical angles where the angles across from each other are equal. So we can use that here, and it can almost just tell visually that it's true, right? So this angle is equal to the one across from it, making it 45 degrees. And then another property from geometry is all the angles add up to 180 degrees. So if I add up the two existing angles, that's 80, right? And we know there's 180 total, so minus the existing two angles means the final missing angle here, angle A, is 100 degrees. Okay, this one they tell us are parallel, AB parallel to DC. Okay, and you can actually make like AD and BC into transversals, which just kind of cuts it, and then you've got all these like angles, like alternate interior angles and all that stuff. So I'm going to extend these out, and then you'll have like all these alternate interior angles and everything like that. So pause the video again, see if you can make some sense of this one. Okay, so now that I've extended it out, you can see the transversal. Maybe I'll label that as T in our picture. Okay, and then you've got these four angles here and these four angles here. And so we want to know angle A, which was this one. Now that I've messed it up, but that would be angle A originally. And so basically the pattern here is that these are called alternate interior angles, and they add up to 180. Okay, if you didn't know that, maybe you could tell, hey, that this X has got to be the same as the X right here, right? It would transfer up there. Those are called corresponding angles. And then these two together would add up to be 180. Okay, so the point is like X plus our missing angle, which I'll call it angle A, I guess, that has to add up to be 180 degrees, right? Whether you do it as consecutive interior angles here, or you put the X up here and then make them add up to 180. However you think of it, they have to add to 180. Okay, and then if we solve this we want to know what's angle A, so we could just minus X from both sides here, and we would have that angle A. I should probably write measure of angle A is equal to 180 minus whatever X is. Okay, so that would be letter F. All right, so slope CD. Again, pause the video and give it a shot before continuing. All right, so first thing I would realize here is that this is going downhill as we go left to right. So it has to be a negative slope. I think of a little guy walking left to right, and if that guy is walking downhill, right, it's a negative slope. So it's got to be either A or B. And then that slope formula is you minus the y's on top. That's like the up or down change. And then you subtract the x's on the bottom in sort of the same order. So it doesn't really matter which one you pick as x1 and y1 and which one you pick as x2 and y2. But you just got to keep the order consistent. So here's our two y coordinates. So just to make it simple, I'm going to do 4 minus 1 for the y's. Sorry, that didn't show up great there, but this is a 1. Okay, and then my x's I just got to do in the same order. So since we picked 4 first here, and the y's, I'm going to pick 9 first when I do my x's. Okay, so I'll get 3 over negative 3, which is just negative 1. Okay, and again, it's going downhill, so we got a negative slope. Looks like we likely did it correctly. Okay, same picture, but now we want to know, we're going to take this thing and we're going to reflect it over the y-axis. So it's going to flip over here, and we want to know the coordinates of D when we flip it over. So pause the video and give it a shot. Okay, so I'm going to move this over because the reflection is going to take up a little bit of space. So you could definitely kind of count on this, but basically it's going to look something like this. This is going to be A prime, B prime is going to be somewhere in here, C prime is going to be somewhere out here, and then D prime is going to be something like that. So I'm just going to envision what it looks like. Okay, so as far as the XY coordinate goes, the Y, the up or down hasn't changed, so Y should still be 1, right? It should still be 1 on the Y axis. And then the X, right, we were at negative 12 or 12 here. So that means we're 12 units away from the point where, or the reflecting line, which means it must be 12 units this way. Okay, so that's just going to be negative 12 then for X. All right, so our point would be X negative 12, Y 1. That's where D prime would be if we reflect it over the Y axis. Okay, so again, I use the picture to help a lot. It gets kind of wordy in the description, but anyways, again, pause the video, try it before watching the solution. Okay, so point D is going to lie between E and F, right? So D has got to be somewhere in here. And we want it to lie in a way that E to F, right, is 4 times. So this E to F is 4 times what it is from D to E. Okay, so that means the length, so my picture is actually probably pretty decent to start because D to E has got to be like basically a fourth, right? So that EF is 4 times as much. Another way to say that is this distance would be a fourth of the big distance there. Okay, so this is another formula that'll come up a decent amount on this is the distance formula. Okay, so basically we know approximately that D is going to be here, and we can probably eliminate a lot of choices just based on that. Like 1210 would be like this is 14, that's 12, and then 1210 would be like way up here probably. So that one's no good. Even 10, 8 probably not going to be right. 10 would maybe be here, and 8 would be about there. So, that looks about like the middle. So that's certainly not going to be right. Um, so let's see if we can eliminate any more actually. So 7, 5, yeah, that's a possibility. 8 and 6, 8 and 6, not gonna be, no, 8 and 6 would be somewhere in here. Yeah, so I don't know, it could be any one of these. All right, so I guess let's get a little more information. So E to F, let's do that distance first. Okay, and if you forgot the distance formula, I'll throw it up here quick. Okay, so basically we have to subtract the x's, square that, subtract the y, square that, and then take the square root of everything. So if we do E to F, I'm going to minus my two x's, so that's 6 and 14. And it really doesn't matter the order here, because once you square, like, I'm either going to get 8 or negative 8, but once you square it, it's still going to be 64, so it won't really matter. Okay, and then my y's are 12 and 4, so I'm just going to do 12 minus 4, and then square that. So we end up with 8 squared plus 8 squared. So 8 squared is 64, so we do square root of 64 plus square root of 64. So it's square root of 128. Okay, that's our distance. All right, and so maybe we'll do a decimal here. All right, so I'm going to try a decimal. All right, so I got 11.3, and this is seeming weird to me because we need something that's like a fourth of that, right? Our DE needs to be like a fourth of this, so it seems weird that if I divide this before, I'm going to get a strange decimal. So the other route we could maybe try here is if I split this and did simplest radical form, we could break it to root 64 times root 2, and that would be 8 square roots of 2. And that's a little bit easier to divide by 4. So we know that our little segment, D to E, has to be 2 square roots of 2. Right? That has to be the distance. Okay, so from here, honestly, I don't have a good strategy. If you can think of a better one, let me know. But I think what I'd have to do here is now just do guess and check. So just check, I'm not sure which one it is, but maybe let's pretend that it's F and see if that would work. So I just have to do my distance formula from this point to 6, 4. So I'm going to do it kind of quickly, but 7 minus 1 for the x's, so that'd be 1 squared. Y's would be 5 minus 4, that'd also be 1 squared. So there I'm just going to get the square root of 2, which is not what I'm looking for, so that one's out. Let's try 8, 6. Okay, so now I'm going to do 8 minus 6, so that's 2. So I'm going to have 2 squared. And then the y's would be 6 minus 4, so that'd be 2 squared again. I think this is going to work out. So that'd be 4 plus 4. So that'd be square root of 8. And then if we clean that up, that'd be square root 4 times root 2, which would give us 2 root 2, right? Which is what we were hoping to get, right? Because that would be a fourth of 8 root 2. Okay, so that would be G then, gave us the right distance. That's a tricky one. If you can think of a better way to kind of do it besides guess and check, but that's all I can think of. That would split it into, fourths, and then this would be a fourth of the total length. Okay, another angle one. I definitely think it's good to copy down the pictures and then like start to fill in all the angles that we know. So pause the video, give it a shot. All right, so they tell us it's a parallelogram, and there's tons of things we know here actually. There's tons of angle relationships. One is that the angles across from each other are equal. So that's probably the way I would do it, is like this one is 40, and then these have to add up to 180, so I do 57 plus 40, which would be 97. And so if it's 180 total, we already have 97, so subtract that off and we get 83 as our missing angle. All right, but there'd be many, many other ways to do it. So one other example is that these two together, the 40 and this purple one, those have to add up to be 180 because the lines are parallel. So we could do something along the lines of like, well, this one, if they add up to 180, this one must be 140. All right, and then you have the 57 is an alternate interior angle with that one right there, making that 57. So if the whole thing is 140 minus the 57 chunk here, and that would leave us with the same answer of, what would that be? Would that be 83? Yeah, that would be right. That'd still be 83. Okay, so either one of those routes work, we get 83. There might even be more ways than that, but right answer should be 83. All right, midpoint formula. So pause the video, see if you can remember it, because this one is just, if you can remember the formula, it's not that hard of a question, but pause the video, give it a shot before continuing. Okay, so to find halfway between 2 points, you just add their x coordinates together, divide by 2. That's the x coordinate, and then do the same thing for the y coordinate, is add the two current endpoints for y together and divide by 2. So our x's are the 1 and the 3, so I'm going to do 1 plus 3 divided by 2, and then the y's are negative 4 and 8. I'm going to do negative 4 plus 8, and then divide by 2. So that should get us, this would be 4 over 2, or 2. This would also be 4 over 2, which would be 2. So answer there for midpoint is 2, 2.